And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, a bunch of elders are trying to escape Shady Pines Senior Center. They're going to be opening up those doors, rolling themselves out, trying to get out and escape from the staffers, the nurses, and the doctors. We're talking about a game here called Bedpans and Broomsticks from Mayfair Games. Plays 2 to 5 players, plays in about 30 to 45 minutes, maybe about 30 minutes. Let's show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. At the beginning of the game, you're going to be able to choose which person and color you're going to be the elder of and trying to escape Shady Pines. It also doubles as a player aid. Each of these of the elders has 2 backs. The dot is the true guy, and the empty one is his decoy, someone dressed up like him trying to thwart off the staffers from catching them and putting them back in their beds. So how the game's going to work is each person goes through a phase where if you want, you can move your elder, your decoy, back to the same space as your elder, and you can always shuffle them if that's needed, if you're almost going to get caught. Then you're going to roll these dice, and you're going to take always the lower of the 2 numbers. So in this case, 2. I can move either my true guy or my decoy 2. And if I go 1, 2, for example, as soon as he can see an empty area for 3 spaces or less, he can see up to 3 spaces, he sees this empty area, and the staffers will add a new place there. So the staffer will take a tile, a hidden tile, take it, and he can put it anywhere he wants. He could put it here. These tiles do not have to be exactly flush like that. You could be like this. You could be like this. I can put it pretty much any way I want, like this. Now notice, this one has a staffer's booth here. This one's actually a black booth, so we would add the doctor. So here we would add the doctor, and then when it becomes the staffer's turn, they're going to be able to move now. Now before or after you roll, so we've moved this guy, and then we're going to roll again and move the other person. So we moved him first, now we get to move him, the 2 lower ones, so 2 and 1 is 3. So I could go 1, 2, 3. Now these are stuff markers. Of course, I seem to have forgotten when I made this other tile here. Every time you place a tile, you always put 2 of these stuff markers in the corners that are opposite where they came from. Unless there's like a nurse's station, you wouldn't put it there. But these stuff markers will be showing up everywhere, and they do all sorts of special moves. So he would have this, he moved 3, so it's 1, 2, 3, he got this. Now, you can't see through doors, but now he can see these 2 places, so 2 more tiles would come up. And maybe I place this one like this, and maybe this one like this. Now keep in mind, there's some green exit signs here. Now this is the second and third, actually the third one. All 3 tiles that we've drawn just randomly happen to have had the green exit signs on them. And when the third exit comes, we pull one of these elevator tiles. This is elevator and stairs, and we place it on one of the adjacent rooms like this. And also we take the corresponding matching elevator tile and we put it somewhere else. This is a bottom floor, because you start on the top floor, and it's disconnected from here. So if someone were to go in the elevator or the stairs, they could come out down here on the bottom floor. I see another staffer. Anytime we put a tile with a staff with the hospital bed, we put a staffer there. So we have 1, 2, 3 staffers there, and that would be the end of his turn. But now let's talk about the different stuff markers, which get to be played by anybody pretty much almost any time in the game. So let's take a look at some of these. Now some of these help the elders, some of them help the staffers. This is one like new shift. You may place 1 or 2 nurses at each nurse station on the next room tile. Well, that would help the staffers quite a bit. Nurse call, move a staffer 1 space closer to the nearest bed. That also possibly could help the staffers. Detector, 1 elder and decoy may only move 1 space. That also helps the staffers. So now we have staffers on strike. No staffers are placed on the next new room tile with station, so that helps the elders. Coffee break, only 1 staffer may move this turn. Normally up to 3 of them move, so that helps the elders. Puddle, must stop movement when placed and entered. May be removed by just clean, so you could pretty much block people from going there. That could help either, really. Laughing gas, neutralize a character in the same space as one of your characters. So you could use that too. Normally, let's talk about neutralizing. So neutralizing means essentially, once all these people have moved their turns, maybe they're all, around here and around here, and maybe everybody's moved once and that's the staffer's turn. When we get someone, when it's the staffer's turn and they roll the dice, they get to move up to 3 staffers if there are some on the board. The doctor gets to use the red die, and the other ones don't. But essentially, you're moving this around, and if I get one staffer in with somebody, nothing happens. But if I get a second staffer, that's how someone is neutralized. This person would have to say whether they are real or not. Oh, it was. He caught him, and he would go back to his bed, essentially. I could send him back to any yellow bed, I believe. Now, all I have to do is catch one of these elders for every player in the game, and the staffers would win. So there's 4 elders playing. I would have to catch 4 different real people, not the decoys, to win the game for the staffers. So this would allow me to neutralize those with 1 less. Now we talked about how 3 exit signs start the first elevator. When the 4th exit sign comes up, there's a staffer there, we get the second of 2 elevators to be placed out on the board, which means we would sort of add it to where it was, and we would add the corresponding elevator somewhere else. Now this is also going to be on the ground floor, but these rooms here from this ground floor and these ones don't join. It's kind of like 2 separated ground floors there. Now when the 5th, 6th, and 7th tile comes out with the exit sign on it, we bring out 3 different exit tiles as those happen. So essentially, we add them to always the bottom floor. So this one has an exit here, and there's 2 other exits. So when we see the 5th, 6th, and 7th, we add these 3 exits. And essentially what's happening is those people the elders are trying to get out to the bottom floor and get out the exit. And they can do so by going down one of these elevators. Let's say they had 3, they went 1, 2 to the bottom floor, and then 3. Or they could go 1 down the stairs, 2, 3 to the other side. So they went 1 into the elevator, 2 to come down here, and 3 would be here. Same with the stairs. It was 1 to the stairs, 2 to these stairs, 3. And now you're on the bottom floor, and this person's obviously trying to get out one of these exits. This is the decoy, of course, but it could have been the real person. So essentially, the elders are moving around, rolling and moving a lot, using different stuff markers at different times in their turn. So are other people, so are the staffers. They're using stuff markers as well. And these guys are really trying to fake out and use their decoys to confuse the staffers. The staffers are trying to get 2 people on any one elder to try to catch up to 4 different real elders, and they win. Otherwise, if one person gets one of their true elders out the exit, they win. All right, there's Bedpans and Broomsticks. I originally was interested in this game because it seemed kind of interesting, seemed kind of cool. Frederick Morrison did Nuns on the Run, which I didn't really like because there was too much fiddliness in that game, but I thought it had a lot of things that it could have been a lot better, and I thought, oh, maybe he's homed in on some of those hidden movement things, but this game didn't really have a whole lot of hidden movement into it. For me, this game was not fun at all for me. It really fell flat for me and my group. It was nothing more than rolling and moving and playing tiles. The tiles that you get are random. They're obviously not balanced. Some of them are very powerful, some of them are not. Some of them are going to help you, some of them are not. There's a lot of randomness in the tiles. There's a lot of randomness in if you get ones you can use. There's a lot of randomness is if it's good or terrible, excellent or terrible. There's a lot of randomness in rolling and moving. For me, it kind of like, I felt like this game probably should have came out like 20 years ago, because modern board game design has come so far since then that I was a little disappointed that there wasn't more refined and there weren't more things going on. Still a lot of fiddly little rules of movements and elevators, and you can't go in somebody else, and these are separated. A lot of little fiddly rules in this game as well. But overall, it's glorified rolling and moving. So I can't recommend the game. I don't know who I'd recommend it for. Possibly little kids might like this and get into the theme and have fun with it. But there's not too many decisions. I thought there's going to be more interesting things with the decoys and stuff, and I mean, it was okay, but I definitely can't recommend it. I can think of other roll and move games I even like better than this. Candyland. Well, that's not really roll and move, that's just pull and move, but it felt the same to me. Anyway, Bedpans and Broomsticks, can't recommend it. Rolling and moving, lots of randomness. If you like that, then you might like it. I didn't.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.